Welcome to I Got a Guy podcast, a podcast carefully designed to introduce a wide range of very talented and highly skilled professionals ready to share their knowledge and advice with you. Please welcome the host of I Got a Guy podcast, Michael Drelichars. Welcome to I Got a Guy podcast. I'm your host, Michael Drelichars. Thank you so much for being here. To our loyal subscribers, we really appreciate you listening to us each and every week, sending us comments, and reaching out to our guests when you have a need for their service. We really appreciate that. And if you're new to I Got a Guy podcast and you would care to catch up on any past episodes, I encourage you to go to igotaguypodcast.com. You'll see a list of all of our shows, a little synopsis of each one of our episodes, the guests that were on there and their mission, their story, if you will, and their contact information. And if you by chance have a need or desire to be on the show as a guest, I encourage you to send us a contact request from the website, and we'll certainly have a conversation and see how we can get you included in the list of future guests. We love to always include new guests and different guests, different industries, and broaden our scope and broaden the service that we provide to our listeners. So we certainly encourage that each and every week. As you know, this show was born out of a book called The Go-Giver. And as a small business owner myself, when you join a referral network, it's not about getting referrals. It's really about giving referrals. And everybody grows when you give referrals. And that's really the essence of this book called The Go-Giver. Bob Berg is the author. And if you haven't read the book, I encourage you to do so. Whether you download it on an audio platform like Audible, or you buy the paperback book. It's a great story and great message in it. In that book, they highlight 5 laws of stratospheric success. And as you know, I like to highlight that in each one of my episodes. And today, I want to touch on the law of value. And that is, you give more in value than you receive in payment. Give more in value than you receive in payment. And I think as you get to know our guest this week, you'll see how applicable that law is to their business and you as the potential recipient of their services. So think about it as we get through this conversation here. So our guest this morning is Kari Prodanov of Stellar Plumbing. Kari and her husband Steve started Stellar Plumbing, and we're going to hear all about Stellar Plumbing. They're based in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. But Kari, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast, so I'm very excited.
Very good. Very good. Well, we're glad to be the first for you, and hope you enjoy the experience.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Tell us about Stellar Plumbing.
Sure. So Stellar Plumbing, we are a husband and wife owned business here in Elk Grove Village. We specialize mostly in residential, but we also do some light commercial work as well. And especially being in Elk Grove, it's great because we have a lot of that industrial park commercial business owners that really need somebody that's local. We have been in business. Well, Steve has been really running the show for a very long time. So he's been doing plumbing since his 20s. He's late 40s now, so very many years, and he's done it all. So he's really been on the commercial side of things, really doing high rises in the city and working for various owners. And then he kind of moved and did some more independent work. And right before COVID hit, he was doing just local plumber guy on his own. He's the guy that you call that's running around all the time doing his own thing. And I think it brought us to Stellar Plumbing because he's been trying to actively get me recruited from my job of 15 years by saying, I really want to take this off. I really want to, make this something bigger, and kind of his dream team, so to speak. So he finally caught me. So I left my job of 15 years and I've been working with him for a couple years now, and we wear many hats. It's just him and I kind of leading the team right now, but we really enjoy it. And I come from a corporate background, so I did a lot of sales analysis and I worked for a really great company. But I think for me, I just felt I just took the Band-Aid off one day and said, let's just jump in the deep end and we'll figure this out. So it's been really great. And I think knowing that we have a very strong marriage definitely helps to work with your spouse every day. But
Sure.
for us, we've been doing this for a couple years, but I think just when you look at the grand scheme of things, Steve's been around for quite a long time.
So he's got lots of experience, and now in the last couple of years, you've kind of refined your focus and
Yeah.
pull them together in the same direction, and that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you do primarily residential plumbing. So it's repairs and service, right? Or is it new construction?
Primarily repairs and service. Yes.
Okay. So hot water heaters, broken pipes. We just went through a sub-zero freeze spell here in the Chicago area. So you had a few frozen pipes, I'm sure.
Yep, we sure did. It was definitely a crazy week. We were very fortunate because a lot of people understood that others were also going through the same issue, and it was a busy week. Our guys really worked hard, and we just kind of kept going to every call that we could and kept customers up to date, saying we're here. We know what you got going on. We're gonna get to you, and we just did what we could. So
Yeah,
it was a crazy week.
yeah, long hours and certainly a lot of mess in the process. I mean that's a messy process when you have frozen pipes.
Yeah, it's no fun for anybody,
So
but we get you back and taken care of, and we get it. We
yeah,
get it. As homeowners, it happens to ourselves. We're worrying about our own homes. And so it's just kind of giving back to make sure that those people feel, okay, your situation's under wraps and you're good. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's good. So how many plumbers do you have in your crew?
Right now we have 2.5. And I say half because Steve is really kind of balancing in the office, and then also he fills in the truck when he needs to still.
Sure.
He likes being on both ends still while he's trying to scale back. Our goal is to really add at least 2 more plumbers before the summer.
Yeah, that's great. As a small business owner myself, I can totally relate to wearing the
Hmm.
multiple hats.
Hmm.
And I can very easily spend much of my day at my desk doing paperwork and things like that. But
Yep.
I get most enjoyment about being in the field as well.
Yeah.
So when we have an installation, I try to be on the installation as often as I can, not only to build a relationship with the customer and to make sure that everything is going according to what we promised up front,
Hmm.
but I get to know what's happening in the field. There's knowledge
Hmm.
gained from that, and
Absolutely.
um, having those skills and being continually refining those skills is valuable. It's a great way to grow the business.
Absolutely.
So
100%
so I
agree.
yeah I can totally relate to Steve's desire and to be in the field whenever possible. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes for some long days because then you have the evenings where you're doing the paperwork, right? But
Yes.
um, but you can't lose touch with the end customer, and especially when you're working with residential customers, the word spreads quickly. Hopefully, it
Yep.
spreads quickly, really quickly, when you do a great job, and they share your story on Facebook or Nextdoor or what have you. But you
Hmm.
certainly don't want to be involved with a negative situation because that also spreads very quickly.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, and so you handle some of the paperwork as well in the office and the phone calls and the scheduling and dispatching
I
of
do.
the drivers.
Yep, I answer the phones, and while we've had someone in the front office before, I think we're really looking for a special skill set in that person. We can train on the technical side, but it's that customer service that we really look to give back to our customers because you're the first voice that customer calls, and that's already the first interaction for those customers. So I've been kind of taking on the phones as we look to recruit for that role again. But I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
enjoy making people feel okay and comfortable. But aside from that, I help with marketing, HR, payroll. It's
that's
the
great.
jack of all trades, right? It's just
Right. Yeah.
someone's got to do it. You figure it out.
Yeah. But like to your point, being that first voice that a customer hears when they call,
Hmm.
in most cases, there's an emergency. Like
Hmm.
the frozen pipes that happens. Every season we get a few days of sub-zero, and you get some frozen pipes. But you know, if your hot water tank springs a leak,
Hmm.
um, that can happen any time of the year, and that's a stressful situation. And so your customers are stressed out when they're calling you. They are their stress levels at a peak.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is calm them down and provide some support there, and let them know that you can actually handle it. So I think that's a real important aspect, um, primarily when the reason they're calling is a stressful reason. They're
Mm-hmm.
not. Some people may want to add a hot tub or put an addition on their house, that sort of thing, and that's
Mm-hmm.
less stressful. But I would imagine a lot of your calls are stress related, emergency kind of stuff.
We do get a fair amount. I would add to that in addition to working with those customers and kind of putting them at ease, we get a lot of customers that call for any kind of, like you said, I just need a tub installed, I need a valve replaced, my sump pump is old, I need a new one. So you're also kind of giving that reassurance to the customer that you generally care when you're talking to them, and you make them feel comfortable because they could have called anybody and they called you. So what am I getting out of calling you? And that's the experience that we want them to have is, oh,
Right.
we get it. We see these things all the time. We're happy to help if you'd like our help.
Yeah. Your point is well taken. There are a lot of there's a lot, every business has competition,
For
and
sure.
you've got to stand out in some way. And the best way to grow a business long term is by you stand out by providing a remarkable customer service. And
Hmm.
so people will call you back, call you again, second time, third time. They'll share their information with their friends and neighbors. And I also, you do quite a bit of marketing on Facebook, right?
We
You
do.
post,
I also
yeah,
manage that.
yeah.
So I
Well, and I
probably need to be better.
yeah, well, but I think when you're talking about a residential type service, I really think that's a really important aspect.
Hmm.
Um, that and the other site called Nextdoor, I think is
Yep.
is a great way um, to share the message and have people promote you and provide awesome comments. So I have seen your Facebook posts, and you do a nice job on that, putting some nice pictures in
Thank you.
there and kind of sharing that message. Well, good. So what do you think 2024 looks like for Stellar Plumbing? You
Cool.
said you're going
Well,
to add a couple more plumbers.
yeah, so we definitely have had a goal. We went through some solid marketing changes. I think as a business owner, you learn a lot. And for us walking into, I mean, Steve had the technical part. I brought some skills, right, with my former job, but you learn a lot as you go. And I think 2023 was a really solid learning for us because we were just, let's throw some things at the wall. Let's see what works. What do we
Right.
like to do? And let's start and lead with that. But what else is out there? And for us, we're in a very deep market, but we look to maybe do some solid marketing executions to add more to our team, to kind of put the vibe out there that this is a place that our team really likes to show up to work.
Right.
And I think, you know for me especially, and for Steve, we come from experiences where you don't always feel appreciated. I mean, I had a really great employer where I also did feel appreciated. But my point is, and we want to invite more to this team. Our plan is to grow with the team and to really, have great technicians that say, I really want to work for Stellar Plumbing because of, they
Right.
give back to their team.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's an important aspect,
Hmm.
because happy employees serve your customers
For
well.
sure.
And
Absolutely.
we see that, my business being GPS tracking,
Hmm.
we've had business owners that they use our GPS tracking as a predictor of the type of service their employees serve. And
Hmm.
regardless of the trade, whether it's pest control, plumbing, electrical, landscaping, if what they have found is when a driver drives recklessly, they
Hmm.
treat their customers recklessly.
Hmm.
And so
It's a
it's
great
kind of
point.
a bellwether. So a business owner can kind of manage. So they know that when an employee is driving their vehicles carefully, more than
Hmm.
likely they're going to arrive at the site not overly stressed out, and they're going to have the right attitude and the right demeanor when they're speaking with their
Hmm.
customer, and it helps promote the business. And so it's really important, especially for a small family-run business, that each and every employee, for whether you have 2 employees, 3 employees, 4 employees, you're all pulling in the same direction, because one bad apple can really change the trajectory of the business. So that is such a critical component, and so it's great that you're focusing on that, because that's how you're going to grow the business steadily. And it's great to grow a business as fast as you can, but you have to have control. And so adding a couple of employees, I think, makes a lot of sense, and I wish you luck on that.
Thank you.
Hopefully you can find some good employees. I know it's a lot of business owners are struggling to find good quality employees nowadays. So hopefully you can find the right ones to help things grow.
Yeah, we do too. And I think it can be more difficult for a small business because, there's that security aspect that technicians look for, especially somebody that's been doing it a while. But we really try to make our interview process a little bit different and special, and say it's okay to come here because we're going to provide you with the things that you need. And we ask the question of, what's important to you? Is it important to know that you're taken care of every day and you enjoy coming to work and doing what you love to do? Or is there something else more important to you? So, that's one of the things we ask, because we just feel it's important for people to know that it is scary to make a change, but it kind of helps spread the word. Yeah,
definitely. So to our listeners, if you are a plumber, or someone that is a plumber that is looking for a different environment, I'd encourage you to reach out to Kari here at Stellar Plumbing. Kari, why don't you share your contact information, maybe your office phone number, email address, whatever. How would you like someone to reach out to you? Not only if they have a need for your services, if they're remodeling the bathroom or have a plumbing emergency, changing out a toilet, etc., but also if somebody wants to interview and apply for a job. How's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Customers, or prospect candidates, if you're looking to get a hold of us, our website is stellarplumbingil.com. There is a Stellar Plumbing in Texas and Arizona, apparently. So we've gotten actually calls from both of those, which was fun. But our mainline number here is 773-908-9375.
Okay.
Those are the best ways. And we do have email and
phone
other
number.
contact forms.
Sure. Repeat the phone number one more time.
Oh, sure. 773-908-9375.
Okay. I'm going to put that on the screen for our YouTube and Rumble viewers, and in the notes for our audio listeners, so they can reach out to you. Certainly when you do reach out to Kari, make sure you mention that you heard about her. You listened to her story here on I Got a Guy podcast. It's a great way for us to connect the dots and know how our marketing efforts are working. So, as we talked earlier, Kari's looking to do more marketing and different types of marketing, and this is just one of the tools.
Thanks.
That's great. So, Kari, we're going to take a quick break here and then come back, and then I want to have you share a few success stories. I know you've had a few scenarios where you've been able to save the day for a client. So, love for our listeners to kind of be able to get their arms around, how you're different than the average plumber. So, why don't you stick with us? We'll be back with you in about a minute or so after hearing from our sponsor, and we'll continue with Kari from Stellar Plumbing. Be right back. Thank you for listening to I Got a Guy podcast. I hope you're getting a lot of knowledge from this week's guest. But now a word from our sponsor. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions works with business owners that own commercial vehicles. We help these business owners enhance their growth and profit through the use of GPS tracking technology. Specifically, Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is known for 3 key principles. First, we are very knowledgeable in the field of GPS tracking and working diligently to learn more every day. Second, we are accessible. We do not hide behind a toll-free number, and we do not have any overseas call centers. We know our clients personally, and we're extremely committed to serving all of our clients as we'd want to be served. And third, we are responsive. We deliver our GPS units promptly and work diligently to install as quickly as possible. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is consistently striving to exceed our clients' expectations. You can learn more about Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions at precisefleettracking.com. or call us at 847-865-6008. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. We make GPS tracking simple. Now, back to the show. Okay, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Michael Drelichars, host of I Got a Guy podcast. Thank you for being here again today. We are happy to have Kari from Stellar Plumbing as our guest this morning. And Kari, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing details about Stellar Plumbing and how you all got started, and Steve's background and how you serve your customers so well. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, before the break, we talked all about, some of the history of Stellar Plumbing and what your focus really is and your growth plans for 2024. But if you would share with our listeners a little bit about what makes, maybe some successes and what makes you different from other plumbers and how you've been able to save the day for some of your clients.
Sure. Sure. Well, as far as successes go, we have had customers graciously share, that we have saved the day that other plumbers can't do, which is great, right? We love hearing that. I think we always kind of use the analogy of plumbers are kind of like your doctor, right? We assess everything, visibly that we can see, but your doctor may recommend something else that another plumber may recommend. And so there's different kind of a different approach to each and every diagnosis that you can do. So I think we are in a very competitive market, and there's some really, really great companies out there. So a success for us is somebody that just called us and gave us the opportunity. But the other success for us really is that we did our job, that we left our customer happy. I mean, that is really, truly the success that we look for every day. We are pleased when we hear that we were able to save the day where somebody else maybe couldn't. Maybe we kind of went above and beyond, and, we understood, hey, this is something that needs to be to code, or this is why this didn't work out for you. And just giving that customer that explanation back, and explaining why something is the way it is or is not. And that really, resonates with customers because they feel like we solved the problem for them. So, while we have heard those successes where, again, they did something another plumber couldn't, the biggest thing for us is that we did what we said we were going to do. We gave you great service. We made a happy customer, and we did it with quality and excellence.
Right. Yeah, there are oftentimes multiple ways to solve a problem. Some are better than others, and the shortest way to solve the problem is not necessarily the best way. So if you take that approach of, gee, this is how somebody else may have tried to do it, but the reality is, we need to go the right way and not only code, but for safety and for sanitation and long-term success. You don't want to do something and then have it break 6 months later or 6 weeks later and have to do it again. And that kind of people remember those things. So it's important as a small local business in the community. You want to have a reputation of going above and beyond and doing it the right way, not always the fastest way or the least expensive way, but the proper way.
And we love our customers, but we also love when you don't call us as much because we know we solved an issue for you.
Right. No, that and that's an interesting dichotomy. You want to do there's enough business out there that you do a quality job for enough people, and you may not see those same customers very frequently, which is a good message.
Absolutely.
And the goal is to just serve more customers.
Yes.
And get the word out, and encourage your customers to share the positive experiences, and I'm sure you find the pleasure in hearing from your customers that they were happy. But what really is beneficial is when your customers go out and tell their neighbors and their friends and the other moms and dads at the soccer field or at the school PTA meeting about how Stellar Plumbing was stellar.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, that's who you ask when you look for a referral, right? Is your neighbor or next door, or like you said, Facebook is, I need a plumber. Who can I go to? and I think one of the things that we try to instill with every experience, from answering the phone to in the field to following up with the customer afterwards to see how everything is working. We truly care, and I think it's been great because we have had a lot of clients say, I felt educated, I felt informed, I know what not to do next time. Um, we give options, we explain the options, why you should choose certain options over others. And that makes the customer feel like they don't have an ultimatum, but they have the choice and their own freedom to go ahead and say, I feel confident about my decision here,
Right.
especially for myself. I have contractors in my home doing things without my husband, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with plumbing. I'm not the technician, but right, at least I have an informed technician that comes in and says, here's what's going on. Here's what I recommend, why I recommend it. You make the decision, but this is ultimately what we feel is going to be best to give you that long-term solution that you need.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That is really, really important. And, there are so many small businesses, like Stellar Plumbing, where a lot of individuals, residents, like to work with small businesses for that exact reason.
sure.
And even in my business of GPS tracking, we work primarily with small businesses also, because personally, I like working with the business owner because I can relate,
Hmm.
I can empathize, I know about the sleepless nights and how when you're a small business owner, you're wearing multiple hats, and
Yeah.
there's some challenging situations, but you're there for the right reason. And some corporations get so big that they lose sight of that. And
Yeah.
so you have the benefit, and it's really nice when your customer base appreciates that
Yes.
and shares the story and knows that you truly do care, and that
Yep.
you're present, you're local, and you're not just some big corporate entity that's just looking to make a buck, but you're really there to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So
And
that's awesome.
yeah, no, thank you. I was just gonna also kind of give kudos back to my husband, not because I'm his wife and I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna do that for him, but I just think as a person, one of the things I enjoy being about being his wife is that he is a very caring, logical, rational person, and he has built a strong customer base just on his qualities alone.
Yeah,
And we appreciate those customers that keep coming back and they look for that aspect of, you've communicated, you've helped us through the situation. And I think when you talk about some of the things that make us more unique is we're kind of like that liaison or that concierge service. We say is, no matter how busy we get, we understand if we came to do something and we had to loop in another partner, we partner with other local businesses to come in and help complete other parts of the job. If it's HVAC,
sure.
restoration, painting, roofing, things that you would not expect your plumber to recommend to you. But we make sure that our team goes out with a list and says, no, here's other teams to work with. These are great people that we've trusted in our own home that we feel confident will do the job for you. And I think that also goes back to putting a customer at ease, because now they're not worried about, okay, I've called one contractor, I felt good. Now who's the next one I'm going to call and feel good about, right?
Right, right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it goes so hand in hand, and actually tying back to that law of stratospheric success I mentioned at the top of the show,
Hmm.
the law of value, where you give more in value than you receive in payment, and that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, and
Yeah.
providing that value to your customers, and not just how do I send an invoice out, but it's all about providing that value, and that value pays dividends long term, and I'm proud of you for being able to do that, and having a successful
Thank you.
business in that area. So that's great. Well,
Thank
cool.
you.
Any other specific stories you want to share with us?
I think when we get letters like this, um, we get all kinds of reviews online, but when we have customers that take time, I always have this like right there. When I get really favorite reviews, I kind of put them in the front because you
So
don't
you get
see that every day.
handwritten reviews.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. A customer that just wrote it in and said, you guys did a great job. We would recommend you to somebody else. I mean, just the time that somebody took to do that was impressive. I mean,
Yeah,
we get so like, just, we get so happy. So we do a review wall to let our team know how happy they made other people, because I think now you see just the world right now. Everybody's very, you know, angry and upset, and understandably so. There's other things, and that's another point. But my whole point is just being able to make somebody else happy
Right.
is great, and making them feel appreciated.
Right. And you think about it, in today's society, to receive a handwritten thank you letter is
Hmm.
so rare.
Yes.
People just don't, I mean, if they do anything, they'll type it out in a document. But
Yeah.
to receive a handwritten, cursive written letter, it's just that's people took some time to do it. It didn't,
Yeah.
they had to write it, they had to, put it in the mailbox and all that stuff. And so you struck somebody in the right way to really generate that. So
Yeah.
that is remarkable, and that's nice to have a wall of success like that to
I
remind you.
was a bit nervous. I will say when we got it, it said manager on the front, and I had a moment of panic, thinking, "Oh man, we dropped the ball. We didn't do something." So when I opened it, it was such a great relief to know, "Oh, that was wonderful." Like
Another
I'm
happy
I'm
customer.
so
Yeah,
happy. Yeah.
yeah. That is a great experience to have, and to just to reaffirm what you do every day. And
Yeah.
because there are those challenging times, and in every small business, you have those moments where it's like, boy, it's a tough situation, and it's
Yeah.
those types of things that kind of keep you going during those more challenging times, and
For sure.
push you on to serve the next customer even better, and keep growing from there. So
You
that's
know,
really that's I'm really I'm happy to hear about those scenarios, and I don't hear about too many handwritten thank you notes.
yep. Thank you,
So,
Michael.
Kari, why don't you share your contact information with our listeners again,
Yeah.
your phone number twice, and your website, so they can find you and reach out, and whether they want to work for you or need your services. Love for them to go
Sure.
get all of you.
Sure. Our website is stellarplumbingil.com. We do have some ads on there, so any prospects are welcome to go in and see what the ad is about, what it would look like to be an employee here. One thing I didn't mention is that we are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. We do not work on the weekends, which I know some people say, well, there's money there. Well, for us, we have guys that come here and enjoy having their weekends back or their evenings back at home with their families, or to do what they please. Um, so that's one thing I wanted to mention, just to anybody looking to make a switch. And then our number is 773-908-9375.
Okay. Again, I'll put that on the screen and in our notes. But yeah, you're an 8 to 5 shop, so
Yeah.
I can imagine that that's a real nice bonus for your technicians to know that they
Yes.
have their evenings to be home with their family, to have their weekends to be home with their family, and it's one thing that to chase the money every chance you get, but you need to
Mhm.
do it in a healthy manner, and taking some time off for yourself and relaxing with your family, and taking it easy is really important. You do a better job overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's an important aspect that I think gets overlooked. So
Yeah,
good for you.
it does. And we have guys that come in and say, "Wait, I don't have to get up at 2 in the morning and go change out a water heater." There are other companies that will definitely be able to help. For us, like, we don't like to create burnout. We want you to, come back here refreshed and feel good, and we get that life happens outside of work, so we want to create time for that too.
Yeah, yeah, that's really important. That's a good solid business strategy that I'm sure will continue to pay dividends for you.
Yep.
So that's great.
Yep.
All right, well, good. Anything else you want to share before we wrap the show up here?
I think I'm okay. I think that was it. I just, uh it's been a journey. We really enjoy doing this. And so I think that really kind of just goes back out, and we hope people see that we treat everyone like family here. So
Yeah,
it's just how
that's
we
great.
work.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud to know you, and great. Appreciate the fact that you're able to spend some time with us today to have this conversation, and share your message with our audience, which fortunately keeps growing. And so to our listeners, if when you call into Stellar Plumbing, make sure you talk to Kari and tell her that you heard about her here on I Got a Guy podcast. And Kari will certainly get back to me with that information. And it also, like your handwritten letter, when I have a listener that calls into a guest for their service, it's a proud moment for me because I know we're doing a good service.
Yeah.
And my primary business is GPS tracking, but I wanted to give back. And I love small businesses, and I know this is the heart of the country, and this is what drives our economy. And
Yep.
I want more small businesses to succeed. And even the GPS tracking that we provide primarily to small businesses, and it helps business owners enhance their growth and profit. Our technology really helps these business owners manage their assets. And recently, we've had a rash of companies calling us because of theft of assets. And so we have been using our GPS tracking on assets like bobcats and front end loaders and skid steers and lawn mowers and snow blowers, because these assets have been stolen so frequently. We've been able to, with a few clients, be able to help them recover assets that were stolen after we've installed GPS tracking. And it's really, to us, it's a very, very, almost like your letter. It's very rewarding when we're able to, help a customer recover assets that were stolen that were worth more than the services that they're paying for.
Absolutely.
So if they didn't have our services, they would be out a lot more money, and that's what helps small businesses grow. But being prudent with your expenses and helping extend your cash flow. So we love working with these small businesses. So if you happen to be in a small business that has assets, whether it be vehicles or these other types of heavy equipment, please reach out to Precise Fleet Tracking. You can find us on our website at precisefleettracking.com. That's precisefleettracking.com. Or call us in the office at 847-865-6008. It's 847-865-6008. And I'd love to have a conversation and see if it's a fit for you. So again, to our listeners, thank you so much for listening again this week. Kari, thank you so much for participating in our show. And we wish you all the best for 2024. And love to hear about how things keep growing for you.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for having me here. I appreciate you having me, and enjoyed sharing a little bit more about our little company.
Yeah, it's great. I really appreciate that. And like I said, this is the heartbeat of the country, and we need this now more than ever. So we need small businesses to grow, and I'm glad to help in any way I can. So again, we will talk with you all next week. Thank you for being here, and take care. Bye now. Thank you for listening to I Got a Guy podcast. For past podcasts and more information, go to igotaguypodcast.com. That's igotaguypodcast.com. Please share this podcast on your social media feeds and tune in again next week to I Got a Guy podcast.